Damn. Just spilled a load of beer on me. All over the place, really. All of me lovely boots. On this rug. I remember when I bought this rug, you know, God, a long time ago. Best part of 14 years. £80, 15 actually. About £80. And it's beautiful. Now it's just a big pile of shit. Full of, you know, big burns when you know, it's smoking a joint and just drops down and burns the shit out of everything. Well, that's what happened, you see, with this one, over all those years. I mean, my late mother used to say to me, right, never let it be said. Actually, my late mother, she had a reputation for being very punctual, so she was never late. So anyway, she used to say, it doesn't matter, I'm here to talk about a fucking film, for crying out loud. What's going on in my head? Hey, I tell you what, never mind. The Shining, right? And I'm talking about the film here to start off with. I mean, you know, all over the internet, all over YouTube, I've found analysis and, you know, interpretations and other people's views on it. And, well, several views over the years have convinced me that, well, convinces me that Stanley Kubrick was a director that thought properly, used his brain properly, you know what I mean? I mean, every film he directed was from a novel, as far as I know. And he always changed the film adaptations from the novel drastically. Yeah, he did. And that's how he worked, you see. And he was renowned for that. And a lot of like authors, when they've seen these film adaptation of the books, a lot of them didn't like it. You know, Clockwork Orange, 2001 Space Odyssey, and, you know, they were completely different from the novels they were derived from, and that's how he worked. And Stephen King, his novel, The Shining, published in 1977, was no exception. I mean, at the time, that's how Stanley Kubrick worked, you see. He used to, like, troll people's, like, get books all the time, buy books, novels, and this one, and usually not just new ones, but old ones as well, and what can I make a film out of? What can I make a film out of? And he hired this secretary, right? And for years and years, she was like next door to his office. You know, just heard these bangs on the wall all the time. Bang, bang, bang. And she was just like sitting in the next room in her office, and he was in his like private domain, his office, whatever. She didn't know what these bangs were on the bloody wall. She thought, we on a fault line round here or something. And I mean, she went in the office one day, and he either called her in or she went in to ask him for something. Probably he called her in because he was that kind of bloke, very private. And, if you're a woman, don't come in here unless I bloody tell you to. But anyway, maybe I'm overstretching it there. I don't know. What he did to Shelley Duvall was a bit... Anyway, Stephen King, you know, he knew what he was like. Anyway, back to the secretary bit. Seen all these books on the floor, piles of them, paperbacks, hardbacks, you name it. You know, opposite his Stanley Kubrick's desk, against, like, at the foot of the wall, right? Them bangs were him just glancing at novels, reading through them. Ah, it's a fucking load of shit, and just chucking her at the wall. Every time you come across one, I'm not making a film out of this. Big bang again. And then she put two and two together and came up with the answer. Oh, that's how he makes films. But he came across The Shining by Stephen King, right? Didn't like it. Yeah? Thought it was pretentious, mundane. All the traits and attributes that you can put to Stephen King. Because I've never thought he was a particularly brilliant writer or anything. It takes him about like 3,000 pages to describe one character. The reader gets bogged down because of it. That's why his book's so fucking long, man. I mean, The Shining's quite a big... I've just been looking for the paperback earlier, because I read the book before I seen the film. Yeah, saw the film, and the film had been out for 10 years and I hadn't even seen it. Oh yeah, I've seen the trailers. Everyone's seen the trailers, haven't they? The blood coming out the lift. The axe going through the door. But there was no Here Johnny on the advert. You know, it's just he like put his face and the film froze. And that was an ad lib anyway. Here's Johnny. That wasn't even in the script. You see, the thing is, Stanley Kubrick was that finicky. They had to do certain scenes that many times. Jack Nicholson went through so many doors with that axe. And he was getting really frustrated. He had to do that bit loads of times. Not say anything though. Nothing in the script. Didn't just look through the door, look round and like look evil. But he had to do it that many times. He just, I'm fucking sick of this. So he went, here's Johnny, thinking that it's going to get like deleted or erased anyway. And it's from the Johnny Carson show years earlier. He used to always announce that when he came on stage, didn't he? Here's Johnny, and that's where he got it from. But they left it in. Yeah, Stanley Kubrick left it in, thought, good. Same with, you know, the little kid, Danny, his imaginary friend called Tony. He improvised and did that himself. The finger part, pretending to imaginary Tony. Stanley Kubrick loved it that much. He thought, wow, brilliant. That actor, Danny Lloyd, who played Danny, you know, they convinced him that they were making like a children's drama as not to traumatise him too much during the production, the filming and everything else. I'm not bloody surprised. And I mean, it was made in England, The Shining, and that was you know the hotel you see in the film? That is a set built at Elm Street Studios in England. Fact. And big set. Thing is though, Stephen King hated it. Hated the whole fucking thing. He even kept handing Stanley Kubrick, you know, bits of his screenplay. Oh, can you put this in? Can you put that in? Not like face to face, but he just left it on his desk with Stanley Kubrick. He just put it straight in the fucking bin. Didn't even look at it. Because you know what kind of writer Stephen King was? The only reason he chose that book to adapt a film from, The Shining, was he liked the location. He liked that idea, you see. There's been lots of stories about haunted houses. God, inundated with them. But not a hotel. And that's what, like, Stanley Kubrick, he thought, I could work my way around that. I can build my own story around that. Otherwise it would have been a mundane, boring, typical, you know, ghost story. The only difference being the setting is different because it's in a hotel. And that's what attracted Kubrick. But he thought, because Stanley Kubrick was a strict atheist. He didn't believe in ghosts, religion, nothing like that, right? I mean, I'm a staunch atheist, but I don't know about the supernatural. I'm a bit open-minded about that. Things I've gone through in the past. Anyway, see the book, yeah, it was ghosts in it. Supernatural happenings and, you know, paranormal activity. That was in the book, right? Nothing like that happens in the film. Nothing. There's not a single ghost or any connection to the paranormal in the whole film. It's all psychological. It's the three of them hallucinating all this stuff. Have you noticed? Every time Jack sees something, or he's in the, for instance, he's in the bathroom and that hideous woman, there's always a mirror there, isn't there? Just like in the ballroom when he's supposedly talking to Lloyd. Lloyd's not there. Nothing's there. He's hallucinating it because he's cracking up. His wife later on, she starts hallucinating stuff that doesn't make sense because she's also cracking up because of what she's just had to go through. Son, Danny, hallucinating because he's cracking up and all, and it's about three people cracking up in their own way because of the isolation. Cabin fevers, Mr. fucking whatever his name is. Oh shit, I can't remember his name now. Who interviewed him, you know what I mean. So, that's what it's about. I mean, let's face it. It's a dysfunctional family. Yeah? I mean, you've got a child with obvious mental health issues, which probably stemmed from abuse from his father, which you find out a little bit more about that in the book. But even in the film, doesn't even have to say that much for you to get the idea what's been happening, you know what I mean? I mean, he didn't just dislocate his shoulder once. He says in the film, when he's in the ballroom, allegedly talk to Lloyd, he says, and that was, what was it? 2 goddamn years ago. Well, it was only 6 months previous to when he dislocated Danny's shoulder, so that was 2 goddamn years ago. So he's done it before then. And there's strange things going on between Danny and his dad. I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's what it's all about. 3 people not getting on, being shut together and just cracking up, hallucinating, and I mean, it's nothing. Like I say, if you ever, if you've seen the film and never bothered with a book, don't expect anything similar if you decide to read the book. Vice versa, in fact. Because the only similarities between the film and the book is the same location names and the same character names, and that's it. Everything else is just different. Different ending. I mean, in the film, as you know, Jack freezes to death in the maze. There isn't even a maze in the book. Nope. At the end of the book, Jack gets blown up in the hotel. The hotel blows up with him in it. Well, his son and the cook, yeah, he survives and all. Mr. Halloran. And Danny escaping the snowcat. Also, like I say, there's no maze in the book. It's like an animal topiary instead. And the animals will come into life, and it's a bit silly because Stephen King did like his interpretation of how his book should have been screened not that long ago. Rebecca De Mornay played Shelley Duvall. I mean, Shelley Duvall, she still hasn't even recovered. Spent a whole year, the whole of 1980 virtually, filming that The Shining. It's gone down in history as having the most takes, 127. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong, but it's over 100. It's 100 and something. You know the bit when Jack's walking up the stairs and she's got the bat, swinging it, and Wendy, Wendy, light of my life. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to bash your brains in. I'm going to bash them right the fuck in. Aye, that bit. They have to do 127 takes of that. And that's why, in that scene, she looks so, well, looks realistic. She looks like she's having a nervous breakdown. She fucking was. She had a nervous breakdown because of that film. But at the end of it all, he patted her on the back and he says, "Thank you, good performance." He did it on purpose to make it a crumbling wreck for the character. She actually got voted Worst Actress Award in 1980. Yeah. That's how, well, shallow people were then. But now you see a performance in it, especially after what I've told you and stuff, you understand why she's like that, see? Oh, God. I wouldn't survive a fucking week under his bloody supervision and instructions, never mind a fucking year. Whoa. Some feat, that. I mean, the film after that, Popeye she was in, same year, it was like later on in 1980, you could see it in that, The Shining, it took that much out of her. A performance in that was like sort of forced, if you know what I mean, compared to The Shining. Well, in that, it was just natural. Because she was constantly shit herself because of his instructions. Yeah. Bear this in mind. There's no ghosts or anything like that in The Shining. It's three people losing their minds in their own way because of isolation. Yeah. I mean, watch that Stephen King miniseries if you want. I think it's 3 parts, I can't remember. But it's not too bad. I mean, if you want to like watch an adaptation which is very close to the book, nothing like the film, well, that's the one for you. Yeah, it's you'll not find it on YouTube. I've got it on OK or You. It's a good Russian site to find films on. You know, you can't find them on YouTube or BitChute, or if it also is on BitChute, it's restricted for copyright reasons, or it might even be on not on Vimeo and fucking Daily Motion. Oh, there's lots of them out there, but OKU's good. Yeah, it's a Russian site, so it's a little bit like a Russian version of YouTube, really. It's the only way I can describe it, I suppose. Oh, hey, I'm gonna have to get off. Hey, I was only meant to be here for a couple of minutes, talking about a film. Never mind. See you later.